the key question about the DevCo is it's typically just burning through cash. Where does it come from? There's kind of two main sources. There's obviously VC type equity investment. And we know that comes with certain, demands on the C Corp and the structure of the C Corp. And if you are going to take equity investors, you really limit it to probably only 3-4 jurisdictions where you can set up that DevCo, that OpCo. It would be, yes, Delaware is a C Corp, or United States generally, but it would have to be a C Corp because that's the only vehicle where investors would take equity in. They're a bit of a creature of comfort in a sense that, or a habit that they've done this many times over. So they will almost expect you to have the C Corp in Delaware. Texas is kind of coming up, but Delaware is still the main place. There's the UK, which has a good limited company where VC will be quite comfortable investing in. A lot of the structure is pretty similar to the C Corp. Singapore, but that's really a far third.
Switzerland?
For a number of reasons. Switzerland AG, a little bit less for, especially US investors. Singapore, same by the way, that would be more for Asian VC. And yes, Cayman, the limited company in Cayman. But there already you will feel that a lot of the US investors just go like, why do you ask me to come into a Cayman company? Why not just a C Corp? We're familiar. They know the insides out of the term sheet. They can act quickly. And so it may be in your benefit to actually just stay in the US if you're going to raise from US investors. So you get a bunch of money thrown at you from VC, comes with certain shackles, but you can learn to live with that. You burn through their cash. You never make a profit. You're good on the tax side. You won't pay taxes because taxes are obviously only payable on profit. The alternative way, and sometimes it's combined, is that you receive grant money. Where does that grant money come from? So grant money by way of operational working capital for your C Corp, right? For your DevCo. Where does the grant money come from? It would come from the foundation, which will have had a pre-sale of a token, or maybe even a genuine token sale. So there is crypto treasury there. And then at the foundation level, at the, let's say, community-owned level, the community in its goodness, in its infinite wisdom, decides that Anton's development company, as just one other contributor to the project, is a worthy recipient of a grant out of that foundation. Now, why do I make this sound a little bit of a caricature? Because that's where the whole of the weakness often comes in with these decentralized structures, is that when you are seen to be the team behind the decentralized setup that grants out, and you're also the owner of the DevCo, even though there's no legal relationship between those two, there's no cross-shareholding or whatever, you got to make sure that the decentralized stack is set up in such a way that it doesn't become circular. Because that's where a lot of people are going to say, okay, this is too easy, right? Anton sets up a development company and then receives a grant from his own foundation, and it becomes circular, and it's no longer like a third-party grant that is subject to a community vote that grants you your working capital, okay? So that's really where you got to be setting this up properly to genuinely make sure that the centralized stack or the community-owned vehicle is independent from you and you not calling all the shots, not to make it too circular, okay? In an ideal setup, you have a well-funded, token-governed, under whatever token governance model, decentralized stack where grants are being decided on, probably by a sub-DAO that decides, okay, Anton can get a grant, Dan can get a grant, Han can get a grant, and you have different contributors who are all set up in whichever way they feel like they got to be set up. If they're working from Estonia, they're probably going to be an Estonian company. They work from the United States, they're probably going to be a US company, but that makes equity investment a little bit more difficult because where's value actually crystallizing?